Okay, y'all, really quick, before they kick me out of this room, I just wanted to make a really quick video about traveling to my Pluto line because if you follow me on social media, you know that I've been making some posts about astrocartography because as a Sag moon, Mars, Uranus, Saturn, like I'm all about freedom and exploration, and I really encourage people to travel. And so, of course, with astrocartography, you can see, how that energy inside of you will feel if you travel to a certain city, a certain country, because of course your astrocartography map can tell you those things. But of course, your entire birth chart needs to be assessed because two people can go to the same place and have two totally different experiences. And then also two people traveling to their sun line or their moon line, again, will have two totally different experiences. So that's why I encourage people to, of course, get your entire birth chart assessed first, and then you can see how that energy might play out. Because I, right now, am on my Pluto line, and in a lot of interpretations of Pluto, with astrocartography, a lot of doom and gloom, a lot of like don't travel there, danger. Pluto is about death and whatever like that. It's not physical. I mean, it could be, but life and death, internal transformation can come whenever you travel to a Pluto line. And of course, again, your entire birth chart needs to be assessed. I have to make that very clear. But my experience, because I am here in Charlotte, North Carolina, because I do have a Pluto line here. And I've just had a few like very interesting things happen in these last 3 days that I've been here, just like back to back to back and crazy. So, one, I do get a lot of clients from the Carolinas. I used to be like, what a coincidence, but there are no coincidences. There's, it's for a reason. And so that's one thing. So I decided to actually travel here to see, what kind of experience I would have, and see if I would meet anybody, if, anything would happen or whatever. But I didn't have any expectations, and there was no like fear or anything before because I've been here once. Didn't get to really explore, but I've been dealing with a lot of people who have been very nice to me, like above and beyond, going the extra mile for me. And I think it also, of course, has to do with where my Pluto sits. It sits in the first house of self. So, of course, having a more magnetic energy, a more powerful presence, maybe with people that they feel like I must move mountains for this woman, I don't know. But that has been something that I've noticed here. Like people have just been very, very nice. And two, I actually I went to a spiritual store, because I like to just kind of explore like those places that have like crystals and books and stuff like that. So I went to one my first day here, and like not even 30 seconds after I was in there, I heard, Jaleesa, I need your help. And I was like, what the heck? Because I thought somebody knew me. And I'm like, okay, I don't know anybody here. And I turned around and it was this lady. She was talking to her daughter. Her daughter had my same name. They're both into, spirituality and things like that. And I was like, that was really interesting. So we kind of made some small talk there. But then the general manager of the store, I just happened to start talking to her, and she found out I was an astrologer. She kind of like freaked out because she was like, "Oh my gosh, do you do astrocartography?" And the fact that she brought it up, I was like, yes, like what the heck? And so that was, kind of interesting too. So we made some small talk there. But then too, I went to, because I stay in a new place like all the time. And like each day that I'm at a place, if I'm there for more than like a day, I'm going to stay in multiple spots. So I booked my hotel, and the first night, I ran into this really a non-accommodating man though. So I will say that that one particular person was, annoying. But I had to go to a different hotel because I got in after midnight, couldn't book through my phone because technically it was the next day. And so I was like telling the guy, like, I want to use my points. I want to use, whatever, but I can't do it on my phone now because it's the next day, whatever. He changed it for me. He was like, just book it for tomorrow and I'll go ahead and change the dates in the computer and you can stay here tonight, whatever. Like I got like $100 off. I was like, oh, so happy. So that happened and that was great. And then I went to my next spot, and the girl the receptionist, she noticed my necklace and she was like, "Oh, you're an Aquarius, you're an air sign like me." And I was like, "Oh, are you a Gemini?" Because she was doing a lot of chatting. And so I just assumed Gemini. She was like, "Oh no, I'm a Libra." And she said her middle name though was Venus. And that her mother named her middle name Venus because her mother is into astrology. And so I thought that was very interesting too. And then we kind of connected on that. And so I was there early, like 10 something, and you can't really check into your room till like 3. But she ended up letting me check in at 11 o'clock. And then she upgraded my room. This is the room. I know like you can't really see everything, but this is not the original room that I had. This TV had my name on it. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a couch in here. There's 2 beds in here, a kitchen. I was like cooking in here. And so, yeah, I thought that was really, really awesome. And so then I did like a small pop-up, session where I was like, anyone who is in Charlotte, if you want to do a reading with me, I'll be here. Let's connect, whatever. And I did connect with somebody. She just messaged me on Instagram and we met up. And lo and behold, we are both Aquarians. We both have similar birth chart placements. And she lives in the city where my Pluto line also goes through. And so that was very interesting, y'all. I had so many like epiphany, like aha moments, like just the similarities between our stories were only, a year apart. And just the connections that we had like from Houston to here. Um, yeah, y'all, like very just very transformative. So like I said, I've only been here for about 2.5 days. And I will say, because this is my Pluto line and it is in the first house, because you also have to know that wherever you're traveling, the house that your planet sits in, that's kind of the area that gets affected. So for me, of course, this has been a very transformative 2 or 3 days, of course, with connecting with people who are into astrology, who are, I'm not met with like any opposition of you're a weird star girl, worshiper, witch, all these things that I get called all the time. But here, people are more accepting of it, or have been, at least with me and my experience, and kind of helping me understand that there is something with this and people are, gravitating towards astrology, of course, and just having this um, want of just knowing self. Of course, the receptionist that I talked to that kind of helped me, with this room, she's actually a Gemini rising. And so that was kind of interesting because she kind of was like, oh, I'm not a Gemini. I'm like, you're literally a Gemini rising. And so just to be able to give people like a little bit of information about themselves and just kind of give people these aha moments. And then for me, of course, with every reading that I do have a lot of like parallels that happen each time, because every client that I get always has my similar placements. Like it just never fails. Which is why I always, I don't care anymore of how I like come across online, because there's always going to be somebody who matches your energy. So, but like I said, it's just real quick because I don't want to, somebody knock on the door. But again, traveling to your Pluto line, you have to understand that, one, you have to look at your entire birth chart. If you do have like a lot of oppositions in your chart when it comes to Pluto aspects, of course, that can kind of, maybe make you go deep down into the depth of your soul and have this extremely transformative experience. But for me, I have like one aspect, and it's with Neptune. And of course, Neptune is tied to spirituality. And so, of course, I'm running into nothing but spiritually aware people here. And then, of course, having that like natural magnetism, I guess, about me here, that people feel like either they got to talk to me, or there's just something that they're willing to do to kind of like, I don't know, maybe I just have a presence about me here. But again, traveling to certain lines in your astrocartography chart can activate different energies. And so again, look at your entire birth chart to understand that, because each city does have a different vibration. Each country does have a different vibration, and whether or not it will resonate with you, you have to, again, look at your chart, look at, those experiences in general. But overall, my Pluto Line has been great. There's been no negativity, and I'm so thankful. I'm so glad. This has been a really interesting trip. A lot of introspection, because I am here by myself, so it has allowed me to kind of go within and just kind of see like where I stand with astrology and being an astrologer and just having this new experience because again, I'm kind of new to all of this and I've been doing this for about a year and a half full time. So it's been great. But anyways, y'all, thank you so much. And if you would like an analysis of your astrocartography chart, because I've been to several different countries and I can kind of give you my experiences on each line and how it's kind of played out. And of course, with me traveling with other people and their lines and how it's played out too. So you can kind of understand and see what that looks like. But of course, you can go ahead and go to my website. You can send me a DM on any social media platform or whatever. But thank y'all for listening, and I will talk to y'all very soon.